See what this baby's got inside it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Brett from Hapticast here.
Barf, barf, you.
You suck you off, Bill.
Oh, Josh, I hear screaming.
Oh yeah!
Gone. The controller's gone.
Look at that. You look fucking fantastic.
Welcome to Haptic HQ.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Hapticast, episode number 106. My name is Josh Toll, and I'm joined by my good friend, Brett Roberts. As always, welcome to Haptic and Tales weekly video game podcast, where we talk about video games.
Yeah.
That's it.
Welcome.
That's all we do, and nothing else. Brett, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm really good. A little hot today in the HQ, but I think we can make it work. Yeah, I'm a little warm today. But I think we can make this work. I think it's going to be a good show. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of important things, including tomorrow's showcase, PlayStation, which is huge. It's been, 2 years since they've had a proper showcase?
It's been 2 years pretty much since they opened their mouth. That's right.
Yeah, so a lot to talk about. You and I are both wearing, dress shirts for some reason, which is, I don't know why, but we are.
Well, we didn't coordinate on it. It just happened.
That is true.
So that's it. So I could tell you.
All right. Well, why don't you tell everybody what we got going on today?
Yeah, we got a lot going on today. First of all, we have more video game releases than I've ever seen in my entire life. On our
Some of them are DLC. I might skip over some, but
and we have we're talking about Final Fantasy XVI not having a day one patch and some updates about its story. Also, there's been previews going around about it, some influencers and stuff like that. Pretty positive stuff. So we talk about Final Fantasy XVI for a little bit. Then we're talking about some Persona news, Persona 6 news, and others. Interesting. We'll be talking about that. Persona 6. It's been about 84 years since Persona 5. So we're talking about that. That's right. Talking about Zelda a little bit, both in what we've been playing, but also talking about how they delayed the game for over a year just to polish it. More Alone in the Dark news coming this week after the PlayStation showcase. Apparently, it's getting its own showcase.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a huge Alone in the Dark fan, but what I read in this little write-up we have here made me excited for this news. So make sure you stick around for that one, even if you don't really care about Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. Talking about the Mario movie being the third biggest animated movie ever currently.
And our thoughts, because we actually watched it this weekend.
That's correct. That is correct. Then Nintendo of Japan is going to stop basically supporting and repairing Wii U consoles and peripherals. And then, of course, our main topic, we're talking about the PlayStation showcase, which is coming up tomorrow at the time of recording this. So stick around for that. We're going to be going through kind of everything that we expect and what's been out there already, going through studio by studio, blowing through it. And it should be a good show.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's hop into it, Brett. Let's start, as we always do, with our media consumption updates. So what we're watching, what we're playing, reading, doing, all that. You want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I went first last time, so I don't mind if you want to go first. I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. I'll run through it real quick. Let's start. I'll start with what I just did, and then I'll end with stuff that we've both been consuming.
Okay.
So first of all, I've been reading a lot the last couple weeks really, getting inspiration for something that you and I are working on, kind of going down the rabbit hole with different things to get again some inspiration. We talked about Silo, the book series Silo last week. I finished the first book again called Wool. It's awesome. I did start the second book, but which is called Shift. But I put that on the back burner because I started reading. I mentioned last week I started this show called The Foundation on Apple TV. There's a book series by Isaac Asimov, who is like one of the the fathers of science fiction, if you will. So I read the first book in the Foundation series. I read this second Foundation and Foundation and Empire.
Wow.
Which are that's the trilogy of those books. They're not super long, and I blew through them, dude. Like mind-blowing shit.
Yeah.
The fact that they're so old, I mean relatively so old, and that there was nothing else really at the time, like, dude, I mean it's some of the most compelling literature I've ever read. And while I will say it's not the deepest character wise, there's characters that have through lines and you get attached here and there. I don't think the characters are particularly compelling, but they function as a way to build up the world. And I almost feel like the world itself and the politicalization of that world is the main character, and all of the characters filter into that.
Interesting.
It's really, really, really fucking good.
Well,
none of the books are too long. They're fairly short, and it's really good.
Well, there's a show now, is what you're saying.
There is a show, which sparked me watching the book. Now, the books, or reading the books. The books are way better. The show is good. I think the show is very visually striking, and much like the books, I don't care about the characters too much, but it's interesting, and it's cool to see that. I have since found out there is a prequel series and a prequel to the prequel series of Empire.
I remember you telling me that.
All written by Asimov. So I actually purchased all of them, and I have all of them, and I'll be reading them as well. So
that's cool. I actually started watching Silo based on your recommendation. I did not get very far. My fiance did. She caught up. So she watched it all.
Oh, shit.
I am only like 30 minutes into the first episode, and I had to run out of the house. So I didn't get to finish it. But I'm liking the world from what I've seen so far.
It's interesting, and I think that's what'll keep you for the first couple episodes, and then you'll see. I think if they execute the twist from the book well enough, then, like I said, I think we might have a certified banger on our hands.
Right.
So I'm doing a lot of reading, which is really good. If I like something, I'll sit down and blow through reading it. And so I'm really fucking floored by Asimov's shit right now.
Love that.
TV and anime, Silo Foundation, just talked about that. Still watching Ted Lasso. The finale is occurring this week. So
oh wow,
that will be
a lot of finales this week.
Yeah.
Barry, Succession, and Ted Lasso.
Teddy L. Also watching the GOAT, dude. Succession. I didn't watch last week's episode yet. This past Sunday's episode yet. Episode 9. But I'm caught up besides that, and whew.
Yeah, dude. That show's spicy and crazy, and I don't know where they go from here. There's an hour and a half left of TV for that show, and I truly don't know where we're going. So
is episode 9 only an hour as well?
I don't know, actually. It felt a little bit
week.
Longer.
Okay.
Yeah, it felt a little bit longer. But I would imagine, I didn't hear anything about it being any longer than usual, but when I did watch it, it did feel like it was a little longer than usual. So
okay. Succession is awesome. I'm sure we'll have more to say about that once it's concluded. Yes.
Where are you right now in like your ranking of TV shows? Like, is that in the upper echelon as it is with me, or?
Yeah, no, it certainly is. I don't know. It's not hitting like Breaking Bad levels of, incredibleness to me. And I think part of it, dude, is, and it's not that I think Breaking Bad is necessarily better. I think I like Breaking Bad more. I think I like The Sopranos more. But this show, I'll give it this, dude. And why, I might have to ruminate with it a while, and it's certainly up there already. I would say maybe top 5. if we're pushing it, maybe top 3. But it is really affecting to watch, and I mean that like affecting with an A, as in like I find it very, very hard to watch.
It's tough, dude.
And it's not because it's bad, it's because it's so stressful. Whereas like something like Breaking Bad affects you in a similar way where you're just watching a train wreck at some point, but there's something less real about Breaking Bad, whereas like some like Succession feels like, please get me out of here.
Well,
And
I was gonna say I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that like the family in Succession is like based on real families that we know in the media, right?
right,
And we know like ATN is based on Fox News. So like
right.
the election episode, which I don't want to say too much for those that haven't seen the show, but the election episode is a great example of how the
Dude.
show like toes the line between fiction and reality, because I felt like I was watching the 2016 election again, basically.
It's particularly difficult to watch.
Yeah.
And there are choices that some characters make where it's like I was like digging my fingernails into my hands. And I'm not watching it because I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it because I'm like, this needs to be like, I want to get through this and it needs to be over like now. Like I'm done and it needs to be finished.
The writing is incredible. The dialogue is second to none, honestly, in that show. The dialogue is fantastic.
And it does what I think really good media does that makes you uncomfortable, like in grounded context, almost like what Uncut Gems did with their dialogue, where it's like there's just people talking all the time and over each other. Nobody gives each other breaks. You're like, you're here and you're here and you're here and then you're here and you're here and then you're here, and it's all over the place and it's incredibly stressful. And it's awesome.
The camera is shot, like the show is shot as if it's like almost like a documentary.
Yeah.
It's like The Office where like the camera moves and zooms in on people's faces. And yeah, it's very jarring. And I definitely understand why you would feel that way.
Yeah. So, but it's awesome. So anyway.
Yeah.
Games, Tears of the Kingdom, still playing that. We'll have more to say on that a little bit later.
What's your hour count? 45?
45, apparently.
Yeah, that's wild.
I closed the game last night and I went to go look because I figured it was probably about there because they do it after 10 days or 11 days for Nintendo. And I was like, maybe 15, 20 hours. 45. And I haven't done anything.
And I thought I was going to be like similar to you. I'm half of what you have.
Dude, I don't know.
That's not to say anything.
I just don't even feel like I've really been like there was a couple days too where I didn't even play it last week.
Right.
And
you must have had some good sessions right at the very beginning.
I did that weekend when I had the issue with my vehicle. And I was like, well, here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really phenomenal game. Really quite good. The movies, we both watched 2 movies. One is Mario, which I think we'll talk a little bit more about later. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't think it's for me. Is it fun? I guess. Is it abysmal? It certainly is. That's about the long and short of it.
Right.
And then another movie that I feel almost similar about, dude, the more I sit with it, Evil Dead Rise. We're huge Evil Dead fans, both the OGs, Army of Darkness, even though we both didn't watch that till more recently, and I think especially we're both fans of Fetty's Evil Dead.
Yeah, Fetty Alvarez.
Fetty Alvarez's Evil Dead. To me, they're so different, the originals and Fetty's, but Fetty's is like not only the pinnacle of the Evil Dead franchise to me, but horror. I love that movie. Evil Dead Rise has some really brutal, like gritty, in your face, like disgusting sequences that I love, which Fetty's also does. But my problem with it in Evil Dead Rise is that it doesn't, whereas Fetty's picks a lane, the originals pick a lane. I feel like Evil Dead Rise toes the line between campiness with some of its dialogue and its scenes and overly serious and also overly gruesome. And I feel like the stuff that's overly gruesome doesn't always necessarily serve the story. It's almost like it almost feels like watching a jump scare done poorly, right? Where it's the setup to a punchline, but it's not set up that well. It's just set up to get there. It's not set up because it needed to exist. And I think ultimately that's where I settle on the movie. It's like where I think it was entertaining. I think it's fine. I don't think it's bad by a stretch of the imagination. I don't really know if it needs to exist, and I don't really know if I ever need to see it again. And I just think it's fine.
Yeah, I landed on the same belief as you. Like I had a fun time watching it, especially with you guys, freaking out over the big moments and whatnot and laughing and, realizing that the entire cast was Australian and then looking it up and confirming that they are actually all Australian. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think this movie needed to be made. Am I mad that it was made? No, because I'll always take more Evil Dead and, I'll take more of something I love. And they didn't completely bastardize it.
Sure.
And I would even take more if they wanted to make more spinoffs.
Yeah.
Where different scenarios happen. Because I'll tell you right now, the beginning of the film starts and then they do like what's the word I'm looking for? A flashback. And the whole movie is the flashback. And then they go back to the,
right.
Where it started. And I think that even that beginning portion, that beginning scene might have had some of the best stuff in the whole movie. And I actually thought like the stuff that was going on in that beginning scene was better than a lot of the stuff that was going on in the rest of the movie. So, especially that title sequence, holy shit, when the title rises up. Like,
the title reveal was good.
That was incredible. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I would take more. I almost wish it was like an anthology series where like every entry was just something different, because that's kind of what it seems like they're trying to do. They tried to do it so different. It's no longer in a cabin. There's another Necronomicon. It's in a bank vault. It's really, they tried to do everything different, but keep the same. A lot of storylines didn't make sense. Like there was a woman that was pregnant and there was no reason for her to be pregnant at all. Another thing that we watched it with our friend Steven, and I did talk to Steven a little bit about this movie. And Josh, one of the things that really gets me is it doesn't pick a tone. And I know you said like it almost seems like it doesn't know what it wants to be. I think part of that is the tone of the film, where Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead was very literally evil and and mean-spirited.
Yeah.
And Fede Alvarez's movie was just like, I'm just going to kill all these characters. I don't care. Fuck it. Everyone's dying. We're getting like, you know what I mean? Like this is just going to be brutal and fucked up. And it was literally just brutal. Whereas this movie was like, they made you feel bad for the mom. Her husband dumped her. Her sister doesn't listen to her. No one helped her. She's living with these kids alone in the shitty apartment that's about to get tore down. But now she's the bad guy. And there's like no more sympathy for her. But she just, they built all this sympathy up for no reason.
Right.
I don't know if that hit you the same way. It certainly hit me that way.
Yeah, and I saw, because that's a great point. The disingenuous, I can't even speak. Exactly what you just said, but not sticking to that specifically, where like Fede's succeeds at that, the original succeed in the opposite of that. This one, I saw an argument for people. It's like, oh, it's just like Fede's one. I'm like, I don't really think that's the case at all, to be honest.
The opening sequence was
absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I was more sold on this movie in the first 5 minutes than I was in the trailing 80.
That's where I'm at.
So, and real quick shout out to Tyler Thunder in the chat. We'll be talking about PlayStation Showcase in a little bit. So stick around for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and they say, what predictions do you have that we don't hear lots of other people talk about? Well, clearly you're not familiar with us, so stick around and you'll find out.
Yeah, we have some far-fetched stuff. You'll hear some predictions from us shortly. So stay tuned. Let's just run through my stuff quickly. A lot of the stuff that I've been watching and listening to and reading and watching and all that, playing, it's all similar to what you're doing. So we'll talk about Mario, the Super Mario film later. I played some Tears of the Kingdom. I'm at 25 hours, which feels like I feel like I've played it a lot, but then I see you playing it for 45 and I'm like, okay, maybe not.
No.
But I'm going to play more tonight. So
cool.
And Succession, nothing more to be said there. Barry, we're getting to an ending here with Barry. We're at the end. We're at the finish line. There's one episode left. Whereas Succession, I don't understand how it's going to end. Barry, I'm like, okay, we're there. The ending is here. It's time to finish the show. The story is over. And then Silo, as I said, I watched like 30 minutes of it, but I'm liking what I've seen so far. So Josh, I don't have anything left. Let's get the show started. If you don't mind, roll the intro for us so we can get on to our podcast where we're going to talk about the PlayStation Showcase. All right, Josh, before we hop into the rest of the show, I need to say we are sponsored. We're sponsored by Dubby Energy. Are you ready for this? Am I springing this on you?
Well, I didn't know we were doing the ad read, but we got it, so do it.
Let's do it. W was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crashes. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor. There's no calories, there's no sugar, there's no artificial colors, there's no fillers, none of the bad stuff, all that good stuff. Listen, your energy drink may cost anywhere between $2 to $3 per can, but with Dubby, it's just $1 per drink. So what are you doing? Don't buy the monsters. Don't buy the Prime Energy. Don't buy any of that. Dubby is $1 per drink. I'm talking a substantial sized drink, ladies and gentlemen, with all the best flavors. So listen, if you find it hard to work,
a tall
glass of water. If you find it hard to work or study, use code SLICK to save on Dubby. That's right. Use code SLICK. It's SLICK at Dubby.gg. Save 10% on your entire order, and all of that money that you save goes to our channel and helps us. So go over there, Dubby.gg, use code SLICK and help us out. And we use it. We listen, or we drink it. We like it.
Love it.
We love it.
It's in the description too, if you're interested. So
yeah, check it out. All right, let's move on to the next portion of our show, the upcoming video game releases. We're going to talk about some games that are coming out very briefly. Josh, I'm just going to rifle through these if that's fine with you.
Please.
After Us is releasing on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X on May 23rd, which is today.
Yes.
Blooming Business Casino is releasing on PC today. Destiny 2's Season of the Deep is releasing today on all platforms, and it includes a new seasonal story, Salvage, a 6-player match-made activity, Deep Dives, weekly story activities, new armor and weapons, Solstice 2023, which is free to all, new dungeon, which requires a dungeon key, and apparently, Josh, they're adding fishing to Destiny 2. So I don't know what any of that means, but I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm done with Destiny.
Sorry that happened.
Add the content back that you took away from me, or happy for you. But
we're happy for you. I ain't reading all that. Glitchbusters Stuck on You is coming out for PC, PS4, and Switch on May 23rd. Miasma Chronicles is releasing for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X May 23rd. Again, that is today.
Mm-hmm.
Planet of Lana is releasing
Critical
for
Darling.
PC. Critical Darling, it's doing great. PC, Xbox Series S and X, and Xbox One today. Puzzle Bobble Every Bubble is releasing on Switch today, which I'm pumped for that. I'm going to pick that one up.
I just lost brain cells listening to you read that title.
Star Trek Resurgence comes out today on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, and Xbox One.
What the fuck is this?
Wobble Dogs Console Edition comes out for PS4 and Xbox One today. Dark Quest 3 is releasing. I didn't know there was a Dark Quest 1 or 2, Josh. Dark Quest 3 is releasing on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch tomorrow. Kingdom Rush Origins is releasing on Xbox One tomorrow. Cassette Beasts is releasing on Xbox One and Switch on May 25th. I'm excited about this one. Right now it's on Steam Deck and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Death from Above is releasing on PC on May 25th. Do Not Feed the Monkeys 2099 is releasing on PC and Switch May 25th. Hello Good Boy is releasing on PC and Switch on May 25th. And Hello Neighbor VR Search and Rescue is releasing PSVR 2 and PSVR May 25th. So that's nice. We're getting a nice PSVR 2 game. The big one on this list, The Lord of the Rings Gollum is releasing for PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, and Xbox One on May 25th.
Yes.
One Piece Odyssey Reunion of Memories DLC
yes.
releases on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, May 25th. Solasta, Crown of the Magister, Palace of Ice DLC.
Oh my God. Okay.
PC, Xbox Series S and X and Xbox One on May 25th. Wherever I got this list, we're never using it again. Tennis Manager 2023 is releasing for PC on May 25th. To the Rescue for Switch is releasing on May 25th.
Somebody rescue me from this list.
Forspoken, In Tanta We Trust DLC is releasing PS5 and PC on May 26th. And Home Sheep Home Farmageddon Party Edition is releasing for PS5, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, Xbox One on May 26th.
That is a fucking awesome name for a video game.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you right now, Josh could have put anything he wanted in that list of games, and I would have read it, and I would have believed it was real. Because, wow.
All right. Do we want to hop in? Do we want to start with the PlayStation stuff or wait?
Let's hop into it. Let's hop into our main topic right now.
Okay. And then we got more, so stick around for that too. But let's do PlayStation.
Yeah, let's do our main topic first.
So here's my suggestion. I'm gonna blow through. Well, I don't even know. I'm gonna blow through, I guess, what we maybe have heard. I don't know how you want to do this. There's a lot. There's too much almost to talk about.
There's a lot.
Stuff that how about this? How about stuff we pretty much know is going to be there first. Okay. And then we'll do specifics about what we've heard, and then we'll do wild opinions.
Okay, I like that.
Does that work? So if you have any ideas, drop them in the chat or in the comments below. So here's what we pretty much know is going to be there, or at least has been talked about beforehand. Is that what I said we're doing first? I already forget what I just said.
You said we were going to do stuff we know is going to be there.
Okay. So hardware, Q-Lite is probably going to be there.
Wait. We don't know that.
No, probably.
That's speculation.
Okay, so I'm not even saying that. So what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed? I gotta go all the way down here.
All right.
Insomniac Games. So Spider-Man 2 is going to be there.
We know Spider-Man 2 is going to be there.
Right. We also know the dev, just as a little aside, said that it's not co-op. It isn't a co-op game. Did people think this was going to be a co-op game?
Yeah, there was rumors that people thought there might be some co-op stuff, and then I think the actor who plays Miles, his name is Najee Jeter or something like that.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yes, Najee Jeter. Yeah.
He did an interview recently where he claimed the game had like co-op elements and also horror elements. And people kind of had to like check themselves on those.
Why would he say that?
I think he was just kind of speaking about like what maybe the vibe that he was getting. I don't know.
Talking out of his butt.
I think Spider-Man 2 is actually going to have like a seamless switch feature, like a GTA, where you're able to kind of switch between the two different characters.
Like dual storylines?
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to go.
That's cool. But that's definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually probably all we can say for sure. I would say the other thing that maybe is a sure bet is Wolverine. Also from Insomniac.
I don't even know. I don't even know if that's true.
Well, then what else would you say is a sure bet?
Nothing.
There's
awesome, no sure bets. There's no sure bets here. That's
Okay.
why we got to get crazy. We got to talk about the crazy things that no one is expecting.
All right. Well, before we do that, let's talk about the stuff that's probably going to be there.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
I'm just ready to unload, dude. Let's go.
Here's what's probably going to be there, or at least I would say is a safe bet. If you had a bingo board, I would say you could probably pick it and be safe. So back to what I said at the beginning, hardware, Q-Lite.
So what is the Q-Lite for those that don't know?
So the Q-Lite is supposed to be PlayStation's dedicated streaming thing that was leaked a couple months ago or weeks ago or whatever it is. It's not their backbone thing, which is totally separate. That's a different company.
Which just got revealed today.
Which just got revealed today. Right. But the Q-Lite is like a dedicated, supposed to have a screen with a dual sense attached to it, like a dedicated streaming thing. So you could like remote play your PS5 or something. That's what it was speculated. There was patents that were filed, and that was talked about a while ago. So I think that could be there. I see some stuff coming in the chat, and we'll get there when we get to the speculation part too. I think a PS5 refresh of some sort is not too far-fetched. That might be more of a stretch, but some sort of either digital console or the disk drive accessory that they've been talking about. Yes.
Right.
Would you?
Yeah, the removable, a new console, a new like slimmer model, digital only console with a disk drive accessory that apparently will only work with this new model of PS5 digital.
And we're not talking about PS5 Pro. I don't think we're there yet. I mean, it's definitely in development, but I don't think they're going to be talking about it yet. We're talking more of like a PS5 Slim type situation with this disk drive, right? I think them pushing PSVR 2, both in hardware and games, is big. And I put this there as a general thing because I can't tell you the games for sure. I'm not as well versed, but I think PSVR 2 has to be here in a big way. Maybe like 30 minutes of showtime.
It has to, because that thing is dead in the water right now. They kind of released it. It's now finally starting to hit actual retailers rather than just PlayStation's website. So they need to get this thing out there. They need to talk about the games. They need to tell us what's coming, whether that's a Half-Life Alyx, whether that is, I don't know. It has to be, they need to talk about some big games for PSVR 2.
Okay. Going down here further, I'm going to jump back to Insomniac again real quick and just reiterate the Wolverine thing. If you don't think that's a sure bet, I think that game is probably further along than you think, because Insomniac, by our calculations, I know we did like a thought exercise a couple months ago. They probably have 3 teams, at least internally. So I think that's probably a safe bet. The other one I would say is maybe a safe bet from Kojima Productions is the Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
He's been teasing that for so long now at this point. It's been over 4 years, hasn't it?
Since Death Stranding
4
1?
years since Death Stranding 1.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Death Stranding 2, obviously.
Right.
But besides that, yeah, I mean, it's been 4 years.
Yeah. So I think that's probably a safe bet. I think it's time for Naughty Dog to talk about their factions game. Whatever
I think
this
so too.
multiplayer game is.
I think this is it. I think this is the show where they finally reveal The Last of Us factions.
Has to be there, I think.
Yeah.
Continuing here, I don't think it's a safe bet, but I think something from Sucker Punch is going to be here. Whether that's Ghost of Tsushima 2, Infamous, or a new IP, I don't know, but I think Sucker Punch has to be here in some
Maybe
way.
a tease for Ghost of Tsushima 2. That's a safe bet.
Yeah. Although I think people said that they're not working on Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, here's the thing. It could just be Ghost of Tsushima for PC.
That's true. Could be. But Sucker Punch has to be there in some way. Third party, I think it makes sense that we're going to see Final Fantasy 16 with it coming up so soon.
Yeah. PS5 exclusivity.
Some way. I think, and this might be crazy, but I think the next iteration of the Final Fantasy VII remake rebirth is I think it's time.
Yeah, I think so too. It's been a while. We need something for it, whether it's a window or a release date. I think it's time.
I think Elden Ring DLC is a sure bet from Software.
Well, and I want to say, Josh, I would agree with you. However, there is the Xbox showcase that is happening, and there is also Summer Games Fest, Jeff Keighley's thing. So the third party stuff, I'm a little hesitant on. I don't. Obviously, we're not experts. We don't know if it's stuff's going to be there or not. But I'm more hesitant to be like, yeah, that's probably going to be there, especially when Sony has so many first party studios that are working on things that we have no idea what they are. So I think now it's time for them to fucking unload on the first party stuff. But there are some third party things that I think you should mention, such as Konami.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do third party speculation then. So you said Konami. Let's talk about Konami. Metal Gear Solid 3 remake and Silent Hill stuff.
Right. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3, everyone thought was an exclusive based on rumors and leaks that have been swirling around the last week or so. But now I'm hearing the game's coming out on PC. It's going to be on Steam. It's going to be on Xbox. So maybe this isn't the place where it's shown off, but I definitely think that this is real. I think Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is real.
Well, whether here or the Xbox showcase, I just feel like the history is there with PlayStation. Yeah. And let me lead it into this. I think we could see some of the Silent Hill stuff, but here's the other thing. Going back to Kojima and Konami. We've talked about this before with being just a wild, fucking insane prediction. PlayStation act as an intermediary to get Konami and Kojima back on speaking terms.
Yeah.
They're bringing Kojima in, and maybe it's not Silent Hills, but maybe it's something that he's working on with them.
Right. I mean, that's been a rumor and a thing that people have been talking about for a while, right? This Kojima working with Sony being the liaison between Kojima and Konami.
Right.
That's certainly possible. And one game series that we didn't list here, but is one that has been in talks, is Castlevania.
Right.
And Castlevania is the one that has been also rumored to be a PlayStation exclusive.
Right.
So out of all of them, out of Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, I think Castlevania might be the most likely, especially with the rumored exclusivity, to be at the showcase.
A Kojima Castlevania game?
I'm not saying it's definitely Kojima, but
you heard it here first, folks.
I definitely think Castlevania will probably have some presence here.
Yeah. Okay. Bandai Namco, again, going back to that, Armored Core, I think could make some sort of appearance. That game's not too far off. Also, Tekken 8.
Yeah, Tekken 8 could be there. Didn't they have a really cool trailer that released? And that's like the last thing we saw.
Yeah. But that game is supposed to be this year, supposedly.
If your game is slated for 2023, now is the time to start talking about it. Otherwise, it ain't happening, bro.
Speaking of fighting games, Mortal Kombat 1, do you think that would make sense to be there?
No, I think Mortal Kombat might be an Xbox.
Okay.
An Xbox.
Yeah, you might be right. Embracer, I think, and I say that these two because they've had PlayStation presences in the past. One is Avatar, the Pandora whatever game. They haven't talked about that in a long time. And then also, I know it comes out soon, but maybe seeing something one more time for Golem.
The Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings
game. Yeah, Golem. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about either of these. Avatar, I don't like them either. I don't think that we need to talk about these in the PlayStation showcase, especially when you have so many first-party things going on. I think Avatar is actually going to get delayed out of this year.
Yeah.
So
okay. I see some more stuff in the chat. We'll get there again in a second. I just there's a lot here. I'm trying to get this stuff out of the way so we can talk about what we really came here to talk about. Right. Capcom Resident Evil 9, yes or no? No. Okay. Square Enix Kingdom Hearts 4.
You're just asking me and I'm answering yes or no. That's it.
And then we're gonna be done with this, and then we'll go to first party stuff.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 4, yes or no?
I think Square Enix is gonna do their own thing. I don't think we're gonna see anything here.
All right. Brett's shitting on everybody's hopes and dreams. Okay, let's catch up with the chat real quick here.
All right, what do we got in the chat?
First of all, Tyler Thunder says a new Ape Escape would be a great surprise. That would make sense. That would make sense. They added it to the what do you call it? The extra tier or the premium tier of Plus. What do you think? I know you're a big Ape Escape fan, aren't you?
Yeah, a new Ape Escape game would be really cool. This is okay. Hear me out.
I have something as a tangent to this, to something else, but
okay,
go.
I think they release a new Ape. If the Q Light is real, I think Ape Escape is a game you put on that, John.
But it's just supposed to be a streaming device.
I know, but I think like you could put that out with that. Like you could be like, check this out, new Ape Escape game, and that's shown on the Q Light, dude. I don't know, because it's like a smaller, easier game. I don't know. I love Ape Escape. Ape Escape is awesome. I just think it's going to be a hard sell.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it could make sense. In regards to that, before we keep reading the chat, so taking the stuff that has been pushed on the premium tier of PlayStation Plus, you think Ape Escape. You know what else I think? I think Siphon Filter. You know what else I think, and who hasn't spoken in a long time?
Toy Story 2 for PS1.
No.
Oh,
studio-wise, you know who hasn't said anything? We know they're working on something new because it's not Days Gone 2. What if Bend is bringing Siphon Filter back?
Last thing I saw was that Bend's new game is Siphon Filter-like.
Well, what if it's just a spiritual successor or a reboot of the entire franchise?
Maybe.
Makes sense. No Days Gone 2, but, I know John Garvin isn't there anymore. I'm pretty sure he's the creator of Siphon Filter. I believe. I could be wrong.
He'd be so mad about that.
Yeah, he would not be happy. Watch his Twitter account if that gets announced.
Yeah.
But I think that could make sense. And I think kind of mining some of the stuff that they've been pushing on the premium tier of PlayStation Plus maybe could, speak to what might be coming from first party. Anyway, let's keep going with the chat here. Tyler Thunder also says new Jet Moto would be another great surprise as well. Are you familiar with what Jet Moto is?
I know of it. Not really familiar with it.
Okay. Pop in the chat and let us know what Jet Moto is. New Wild Arms would be a great surprise, as well as a lot of series PlayStation can bring back. So that goes also back to what's on the premium tier of PlayStation Plus. Wild Arms. Old school Wild Arms and Wild Arms 2. An old school, very well regarded RPG, JRPG.
Well, right. And to Tyler Thunder's point, a lot of like PlayStation series that they could bring back, like Sly Cooper is one.
Yes. Yeah.
Sly Cooper has been gone for a very long time, and that is a sucker punch game.
Wild Arms would be awesome. I know there's a lot of Wild Arms fans, and I'm interested in Wild Arms, but I can't really get into the old ones. Steven says Bandai Namco seems to be buds with Xbox. I don't care. I buy all that Konami stock though. Steven also says Star Wars will be there. Ubisoft / Quantic Dream / Unknown lock of the week.
Yeah, I mean maybe. I don't see Ubisoft having their own show this year, right?
I don't see Ubisoft existing outside of this year.
Right. Exactly.
And in regards to Star Wars, what about, I know it's third party again, and would be Embracer, but what about the KOTOR remake? I know we heard that was potentially canceled internally.
I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure that game is fucking dead right now, but I don't know. let's talk about
let's
talk about like what are you most excited for? What's your crazy idea? What do you think could be here? What do you want to see at this showcase?
Here's what I want to see. Bluepoint and Bloodborne in some way. Give it to me now. I want
Bluepoint, put it on my bingo card. Bluepoint's on there.
Out of all things, and you can interchange this however you want. I want to see Bluepoint and I want to see Bloodborne. What I really want to see is both of them together. And you know what else I want to see? I want to see Bluepoint and Bloodborne, and I want to see Bluepoint with a new IP. And I want them to be like, hey, we got both of these right now.
I'm with you. So I know Bluepoint has been rumored to be working on their own IP. I know that it's been rumored that they're working on Bloodborne. Here's the deal. I'll take one or the other because Bluepoint is a fantastic studio. The love and effort and care that they put into other people's games is fantastic. And I'm excited to see what they do. I'm really excited for that. So new IP from Bluepoint, yes. If it's Bloodborne, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm done. That's it. You won't ever see me ever again. I'm gonna just turn into a ball. So I agree. Bluepoint, Bloodborne, new IP, 100%. Another studio that I'm really excited to see, Josh.
Yeah,
is Bungie.
Yes, please.
Sony.
Open up your mouth and say it. Yes, open up and say your mouth. What you want to say? Say it.
No, go ahead. You say it.
No, you say it.
I don't know what you want me to say.
I want you to say what's on our list right there. I want you to say
a new IP.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying I want more Destiny 2.
No, fuck Destiny. You can throw Destiny to the wolves. I don't care.
I agree. I think that they could have the next big multiplayer game for PlayStation, an exclusive multiplayer game.
Here's what I want, Brett.
Although I would love a single player game from them.
I want a single player, first person, high octane, high production value, rich world building, knock your balls off story from Bungie, a la Halo. I want that. Here's why. First of all, PlayStation needs to get away from third person action narratives.
Right.
You need first person shooters. You want live service games too. So make a Halo style single player banger, multiplayer banger game. Give it to me. And
you want to know what I want?
There was a rumor about what Bungie's new IP might be called, or like a code name too. I forget what it's called though.
Well, I'll tell you what the name is not. PlayStation's Ooze.
I've an Ooze, dude.
I'm ready for Ooze, a new IP from PlayStation that has apparently been in the works for a long time. We've seen screenshots. We've heard a lot about it from Dust Golem, who's a famous leaker for Resident Evil.
We got a video taken down for putting up a screenshot about it in it.
We did. I want to see Ooze. Ivan Ooze the game. So is that
Bungie? Is Bungie making IP?
We don't know. I don't even know if a studio has been attached to it. That could be Bluepoint. That could be
London. It could be London Studio.
That could be London Studio because they have been working on something for a while.
Yeah, that if anything, I feel like that might be London Studio. Real quick in the chat, Tyler Thunder says Simpsons Hit and Run remaster remake. It's apparently been the 20th anniversary. Simpsons Hit and Run is a certified banger video.
Yeah, that game slaps.
Yeah, so that would be cool. And Steven says, folks, we're bringing a marathon back. What's
franchise? I think it's a Bungie IP.
Oh, okay. And then Ant Sosa, definitely agree. I'm assuming in regards to Steven, although I'm not sure. Okay. Continuing on here. Okay, Gorilla. Here's what's happening. Okay, listen to me. First of all, the Horizon multiplayer game is going to be here. Okay, you can lock it in. They have these, 10 live service games that they need to this is one of them. Gorilla has multiple teams. It's coming.
So isn't it true that a lot of, first of all, they had so Gorilla used to make Killzone.
Correct.
So they have all the Killzone people on board already making Horizon. So they said, why don't we make a multiplayer game using the talents of our Killzone team? We're going to make a Horizon multiplayer game.
Right.
But here's the thing. Weren't they also poaching people from other studios, like famous first-person online games for their new game? So
correct.
I think that would make a lot of sense. I don't like the idea of Gorilla putting all of their eggs in the Horizon basket.
Yeah, I don't like the milking dry of Horizon.
Right. So that's the only thing that I don't like about that. But I do think that they are working on a multiplayer game, whether that's Horizon or another Killzone or a new IP. Yeah.
And I think Horizon 3 is definitely happening. I don't think it'll be here. I think it's way too early, but I think it's definitely happening. So
yeah, they're literally still marketing the DLC for that game.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
for the second game, I should say.
Yeah, I think Jade Raymond will be here in her studio. Haven Studios. I think it's time. They were open and acquired a long time ago. It's time to speak, Jade.
It's ooze.
It's time to speak.
Jade's ooze.
I don't think we're going to see anything from Housemarque. We talked about Insomniac. We talked about
What
Kojima.
about Media Molecule?
So
we're coming off the heels of Dreams, which you think is a failure. I think was fantastic.
Sure. It's just not a game.
Right. Sure.
They wasted 10 years making a tool that has
would you even
no
have played
applicability.
Would you even have played a Media Molecule game that wasn't
I played Tearaway?
Dreams? Yeah, okay. Listen.
If they made a fucking game since the last time when I had a fucking binky in my fucking mouth.
I love Dreams. I'm sad to see it. It's done. But I agree. You wrote here, new IP. I think Media Molecule is going to announce a new IP. Dreams is effectively dead. So.
Yeah, it is. It's probably too early, though. I mean, that's a small team. It's probably too early for them to show anything. I mean, they just canceled it. Unless it's been like in the
but
works.
Dreams is like a self-user-funded thing, right? How much effort were they putting into it still? For years.
Well, I don't know. That has something. That's clearly what their fucking pride and joy was for the 3 fucking game developers that were left there.
Sony killed Media Molecule and Dreams by not letting people publish their stuff to the PlayStation Store and monetize
I'll tell you what killed Media Molecule and Dreams was greenlighting it and allowing it to happen and having them spend 10 years on it in the first place. A waste, dude. A fucking waste.
Sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on. We're having some issues on our end here.
Waste of talent. Not a game. And Sosa said, "What do you guys want to see tomorrow at the showcase?" We've been talking about that. We still have more coming on that. Tyler, definitely Bloodborne and definitely Blue Point. Tyler Thunder says new Motorstorm as well. Steven says Mod Nation Racers.
I don't need Mod
Nation Racers 2. Mario Kart 9 is probably coming 2024, so Mod Nation Racers 2 could compete with it. I don't know about any of that. Yeah. All right, Naughty Dog. So we talked about factions a little bit. It's time. Here's the other thing, and here's what we're getting, Brett. And you might call me crazy, but I'm not crazy because this game came out at the end of the last generation, and they have so much synergy going on right now. We're getting a Last of Us 3 announcement, and I'm going to lose my mind.
If so, it's just a tease.
Oh, it's just going to be a tease. But it's going to be there, and they're going to put their their flag in the sand.
I don't think so.
It's happening. Their next game
I don't think so.
is Last of Us 3. Absolutely. I absolutely know so. Take it to the bank.
I think they're going to skip it.
No way.
They're going to come back to it.
No.
But they're working on factions.
Nope.
Last of Us is not done forever.
Nope, it's definitely not. That's correct. And it's their next game.
I don't know about all that.
The ending of the second game warrants an immediate sequel quicker than the first game ever did.
I'll give you that.
It's happening. It's their next game. They're going to be the Last of Us studio for a little while. They're going to make Last of Us 3, and then they're going to say goodbye. And then they're going to be done with Last of Us. Just like they're done with Uncharted. Which, by the way, speaking of Uncharted, going back to Bend, what if Bend is working on an Uncharted game? Because Uncharted 5 is happening. You remember that fucking little PlayStation teaser where they showed probably, Nathan Drake's daughter? You know what I'm talking about?
That. No.
Well, it happened a while ago for the PS5 thing. Somebody's working on an Uncharted game too, and maybe it's Ben, maybe it's somebody else, but it's happening. Because Naughty Dog's never making.
You're connecting pins with strings.
They're dumb, dude.
Right now.
Call me Charlie Day at the board right now, okay?
Yeah,
it's happening. Okay. But Last of Us 3 is happening, and it's happening now. Okay.
So listen, Sony Santa Monica.
Oh,
the God of War studio. I don't think they're working on another God of War right now.
Oh, no, they definitely are. But they have 2 teams. They have 2 teams, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're working on Cory Barlog's game, which is probably that sci-fi game that they canceled before God of War.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then the other guy is working on the next God of War.
You really think so?
Yeah, but that's...
We won't see it tomorrow, though.
No. Oh, God, no. No.
But we might see their new IP tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. And guess what? It's coming out this year, too.
New IP?
Yeah.
This year?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that was me logging out of this chat.
Yeah, Standing Monica. Dude, think about it. How long has it been since God of War 2018, Brett? Do the math. How many years has it been since 2018? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We know Cory Barlog and many key players on his team were not listed on the credits for God of War Ragnarok. Okay, they didn't work on it. They got something else going on. They scrapped this sci-fi shooter, this sci-fi IP before God of War 2018.
I'm pretty sure Alana Pierce is a writer for Sony Santa Monica, and she's not working on God of War right now.
No, she's not. She's working on whatever this is. And it'll be at the showcase, and it'll be what ends the showcase, and it'll be out in holiday of this year. I wish.
Can you imagine? Jesus Christ.
Dude.
DLC?
No, they already said they're not doing DLC. San Diego Studio, I listed that on here. Those are the people that do MLB The Show, but we know that they have 2 teams working internally and that they could be working on something else. Maybe it's Little Big Planet 4. No, Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet's Media Molecule.
No, it's not. Well, it was, but it's not anymore. I think that could also be Polyphony. Or not Polyphony. Fire Sprite.
That's possible.
And then real quick too, Sucker Punch. Is it Ghost of Tsushima 2? Is it a new IP? Is it Infamous? What is it?
Ghost of Tsushima for PC.
Okay. And then Tyler Thunder says new Twisted Metal game. This makes sense.
That makes sense with the new show coming out.
Yeah, maybe Team Asobi's working on it, dude.
It's probably going to be ass.
Oh, come on. Why? Because David Jaffe's not working on it, dude?
I don't care about David Jaffe.
He's the creator of Twisted Metal.
I know that. I just don't care.
All right.
Bring back Destruction All-Stars, dude. That's the real
No. All right. Do you have anything, or does anybody else in the chat have anything else before we move off of this?
Quite frankly, I'm ready to move on because I can't even watch this live and it makes me so mad.
You can't?
Nah.
Am I streaming it?
If you want to. I have a work event. I can't. I'm going to be at work.
Well, you might be streaming it. I don't know. I'm always
might be
like,
streaming it.
I don't know. I'm always now because
I think your reaction. Yeah, I know what you mean. The copyright strike sucks, but I would like to get your reaction for TikToks.
Okay. Legend of Dragoon remake. Oh boy.
We're just naming old things that someone once brought back, and that is awesome, dude.
Yeah. Regardless, here's my predictions. It's gonna slap.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's all you really need to know is that it's gonna be
as
awesome.
soon as the PlayStation logo appears on your screen when the stream starts.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Cum Zone.
It's gonna be 90 minutes of bangers. All right, listen, we are almost an hour in, and we still have several things that we need to talk about. So we're gonna shift off of this, if that's okay with you.
Let's talk about.
That being said, stick around. We got some interesting stuff coming up.
Yeah. You cool with talking about Final Fantasy 16?
I really do want to talk about Final Fantasy 16, which also might be at showcase. But
so, Josh, Final Fantasy 16 apparently won't have a day 1 patch.
Yeah, this
is awesome. Some news coming from PlayStation Lifestyle. So let me read some of this and then we can talk about it. Final Fantasy 16 will not have a day 1 update when it launches on June 22nd, according to director Hiroshi Takai. He and producer Naoki Yoshida are confident that the game is polished enough to launch without a patch, and they believe it's good to go as it is. However, Takai's team is still bug testing the game daily, so changes may occur. Square Enix wants players to jump into Final Fantasy 16 right away, so unless a major issue arises, a day 1 patch is unlikely. Takai also acknowledged that physical game purchasers without internet connection should not be held back by a patch. So this is some very Japanese-ass game development logic here, and I'm for it.
This is some BDE. You understand that?
Yeah.
From now on, this statement or just this approach saying that we know the game is good enough as it is, that's what I'm looking for every developer to say. Every game director and every producer, this is what you have to say.
Yeah.
Because the state of video games in the West is purely unacceptable. Out of mainly Western developers. Just this. Yeah. Unacceptable.
Releasing unfinished games, putting out updates on the first day. Yeah.
Ridiculous. This is awesome. I love this. Very cool.
Well, let me talk about Final Fantasy 16 just a little bit more, Josh, because there is another story that broke today, and it's got a lot of people up in arms. So Polygon and Kotaku both posted articles about Final Fantasy 16 and a new feature that has been announced called Active Time Lore. And the real problem that people are having is the headlines of their articles. So I'm just going to read the Polygon one here. The title is Final Fantasy XVI's developers couldn't follow its story, so they made a tool to help. Now,
Oh yeah.
originally I was like, what a fucking hit piece. These guys are awful. Fuck them. But dude, they did an interview with Naoki Yoshida, and I'll tell you right now, it's literally what they did. They introduced this tool because the game was too confusing. Let me explain. So, one of the neatest features of Final Fantasy XVI is something called active time lore. You can pause the game at any moment, even and especially during cutscenes, to bring a little screen up with the click of a touchpad, and it gives you helpful little capsule bios of every character in that scene, plus notes on the location, the factions involved, any concepts that the characters are discussing, and any jargon they're using. It's like the X-ray feature on Amazon Prime Video that tells you the name of a character actor that looks familiar. But this time, it's for video game lore.
Yes, that is fucking awesome, and that's immediately what I thought about when you started talking about this.
I think this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So here's the quote.
Get up and clap.
Right. Here's the quote. Producer Naoki Yoshida told Polygon, "It was always our objective to tell this kind of story, this sweeping, grand, epic story with this massive ensemble cast, something that was very complex and intertwined. And kind of throwing the players in that in the beginning sets you up for what's to come. Not necessarily overwhelming the player, but showing the player that we're trying to tell this grand story very early on. However, the team realized players might need a little help, though, when an early script read left even the game's developers baffled and struggling to keep up. I think it was, this is quotes, I think it was May in 2019, Yoshida remembers. We brought together pretty much the main staff from all the sections working on the game, and we read through the entire script together.
Jesus Christ.
We found out that a lot of even the internal core staff were lost. They didn't know what was going on. So we realized all of a sudden that we needed some way to support players that were going to feel this way as well. Because if we as devs are feeling it, players are definitely going to."
Yeah.
So the article, while inflammatory at first, it's true.
Yeah.
They literally did not know what the hell was going on in their own game because the world building was so complex.
Mm-hmm.
So they built a feature in order to help those devs and the player, which is really cool.
It is really cool. This is awesome. Maybe you could call it a new accessibility feature. I don't know. But this is really, 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 really fucking cool. And the more I hear about this game, the more excited I get. Early impressions from people that got their hands on it, big swaths of the game, are super positive. The game looks fucking awesome. I'm here to tell you, this game, you think Tears of the Kingdom was big, which it was. This game is going to also be fucking massive.
Yeah.
We're eating good right now, folks. And
we are.
We better enjoy it while it lasts.
Especially this last month and the next couple of months with some big releases coming out.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to say, like a game with this world building, this detail, they're literally creating like religions and factions and all of this deep lore for this game. And I think that that's already a plus for me. And I'm sure for you as well. That's something that we really like about games, when you can feel that world and live in that world because it's so detailed.
Absolutely.
And having this as a way for you to kind of reference and go through as you're playing the game, literally in a cutscene, especially, is really, really cool.
Yeah. I agree. And real quick, Stephen says here, I think it's played its way into being a movable trade piece. I disagree. I think it's pretty set in stone, to be honest with you. So,
what, for our video game league?
Yeah, this is not going anywhere. This is not. I'm telling everybody right now in our league, this ain't going anywhere. Okay?
Oh, that's unfortunate. That might have been the deciding
There's
factor.
no way. I ain't fucking trading
Yikes.
trading a fucking nice prime steak away for a couple of, Oh, Steven says I think it's played its way into not being a movable trade piece. That's correct. And it never was, because I knew, which is why I took a bet on the beginning.
That's okay. A little inside baseball here, but
yeah. All right. We got to talk about Persona. We got to keep rolling here.
Josh.
Also, just so everybody knows, again, we have to do a little plug to people that are not subscribed, so don't worry about it. Here we go. You ready, Brett? Okay.
Before you do that,
am I saying it over the?
Well, that was the plan, but
okay.
Now don't worry about it.
Restart it. I got it. Do it. What's up, everybody? It's Josh and Brett here, sitting down to talk about a potential confirmation surrounding the release of Persona 6. That's right, we got new information surrounding an imminent announcement of Persona 6, as well as a few other exciting Persona projects, including the long-rumored Persona 3 remake and even another potential Persona 5 spin-off game.
That's right, Josh. So if you're interested in Persona, gaming news, reactions, deep dives, and more, you're in the right place. Be sure to hit that subscribe button now to stay up to date on all of our content related to the world of gaming. And by subscribing, you'll be a part of a community of like-minded individuals who share your passion for gaming. Without further ado, let's hop into the story.
That's right, Brett. So according to insider Nate the Hate, or Nate something, I forget. Anyway,
love Nate the Hate. Great name.
Yeah, the release date window for Persona 6 is allegedly supposed to be late 2024, and the game will likely be announced later this year, possibly at TGS, Tokyo Game Show, in September. So it's reportedly not coming to PS4, so it's going to be current gen only, and maybe a timed PlayStation exclusive before coming to other platforms. Before we continue, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that this will be announced probably this year at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know about the PlayStation exclusivity. Since Persona 5's release, we have seen
maybe timed,
but since Persona 5's release on the PlayStation 4, we have seen this pattern of Atlus and Sega kind of neglecting PlayStation as their exclusive partner and just putting all of their games out on every platform. This started with Persona 4 Golden on Steam, then it started with Persona 3 being released on Xbox and so on and so forth. So I don't know if exclusivity is even on the table anymore. For the most part, what I've seen is Atlus is like choosing Xbox as their marketing partner for announcing new projects and new games. So I don't know.
Which is so stupid. I think maybe we'll see some sort of PlayStation exclusivity, even if it's timed. I don't know, but I also think if Sega and Atlus are putting their eggs in the Xbox basket, that's really stupid. The people that play your games don't play there. Nobody in your major markets owns those devices. Nobody is playing RPGs on Xbox. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. Especially JRPGs. No, nobody's playing JRPGs over there. Okay, that's dumb, stupid, bad.
Over where?
Good idea.
Here?
Xbox, over on Xbox. Nobody's playing over there. Okay. No, and people in the West, they're not fucking playing JRPGs on Xbox.
Well, if they had games, I would play them there.
No, PlayStation's where it's at for JRPGs. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Also, apparently I also think a Persona 6 announcement was supposed to happen at the end of last year with their anniversary shit, and maybe they just weren't ready. Also, there was all the stuff that Persona 6 really started development before Persona 5, as in what the concept for the game was. Then they scrapped it and did Persona 5 to focus on just Japan after that major, event with all of the tsunamis and earthquakes and all that shit.
Right.
So don't forget about that, which means maybe they started down this sweeping narrative path where you're supposed to go to different parts of the world. So maybe it's actually further than we think. But 2024 makes sense. Which sounds great for a delay into 2025. Okay, so a Persona 3 remake is also apparently rumored to release before Persona 6. Now, we've talked about this before on the channel, and it may be revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase, which is upcoming on June 11th.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? There's a couple other pieces. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this one I'm sold on. I definitely think that the Persona 3 remake is real. I've seen images from it. We've seen leaked images.
Yeah,
and if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be at Xbox's show. As I said before, Atlus is kind of sucking off Xbox right now. So that is where it will be.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then a third Persona game is also said to be in development for release in 2024. And it is rumored to be potentially another Persona 5 spinoff, maybe a Persona 5 Arena.
Ooh, I would suck that off.
So for those that don't know, Arena is the fighting franchise within Persona. We have Persona 4 Arena, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Okay. Could be cool. Yeah. So obviously no official announcements have been made by Sega or Atlus yet. But this is exciting. And I think it's all true.
Yeah, and the Persona 5 spinoff could be that mobile game, which they announced. Yeah, there's like a mobile game that's Persona 5.
Yeah. I just want another Ultimax game.
Yeah,
or arena game. So regardless, pretty cool nonetheless. I'm excited. Huge Persona fans. We'll talk about it more as we get more, but I think this is all pretty safe bets for happening.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
I would agree. I think they kind of waited to announce anything with the Persona 3 remake because they did just release the Persona 3 portable on all of the consoles, so they wanted to kind of get their
Yeah.
bag for that and then
Yeah.
announce this.
Yeah, for sure.
Suck me off.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
Josh, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was delayed by over a year for polishing.
Good.
This is from VGC. Nintendo apparently delayed the release of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for over a year to polish the game up to their standards. Tears of the Kingdom sold 10 million copies worldwide in its first 3 days, making it the fastest selling game in the series. The Legend of Zelda franchise has sold over 130 million units since launching in 1986.
So, real quick, first of all, this is great. And
Yeah.
again, goes to what we keep talking about, that the Eastern mindset with game development, Japanese mindset, totally different.
Yeah.
I would challenge you to find a Western-led development publisher that would say, yeah, you can delay your game for over a year for polish. You got it. Do it.
Yeah. And me and our friend Steven, who is in the chat, we talked about this over the weekend. And the thing that I mentioned to him was like, I feel like game development in the West is driven by shareholders and stock prices.
Right.
Whereas in Japan, it's about the art of the game.
Right.
Where they're making the game as a representation of who they are, as a representation of the art they put out. Kind of how it used to be in the gaming world.
Do you know what's crazy? Xbox, which is Western led, and PlayStation, which is a Japanese company but is now Western led from PlayStation America, they will never, ever have a video game that sells 10 million copies in 3 days. It will never happen. And it's because 120 fucking million people own a Nintendo Switch or however many it is. 10 million in 3 days. PlayStation does not have an IP that is that strong. Xbox does not have an IP that is that strong. And I don't care what you fucking tell me. It won't happen. The attach rate on that is insane. 10 million in 3 days? Fuck off, bro. And you're telling me that you can't give people and developers more time? Look how much money they're making in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this franchise is, like I said, it's been out there since 1986. I don't even know if any of Sony's IP have been around that long. I don't even know if PlayStation has been around.
I think the only Japanese company that needs to get their head out of their ass is Game Freak.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We're not even talking about the Pokemon news.
Doesn't even really matter, right? I mean, they still sold 1 billion fucking units in 2 days.
Sorry.
Fucking garbage, bro. Anyway, love it. Zelda team's awesome. Everybody at Nintendo is awesome. I love Nintendo. They're also the most ass backwards company in fucking existence.
Well, speaking of, let me piggyback onto another topic here that we were going to talk about, Josh. Nintendo Japan.
Oh.
Sorry,
yes.
Am I throwing you for a loop because I'm jumping around?
No, you're good. You got it.
Okay. Nintendo Japan is going to stop repairing Wii U consoles and peripherals.
Yeah. Well, this is what we're saying. Nintendo's awesome. Nintendo also is fucking abysmal.
That's right. This is coming from VGC. Nintendo Japan has announced that it will stop repairing Wii U consoles and peripherals, including the Wii U gamepad, once its current part stock runs out. The company has been winding down support for the Wii U, closing down the Wii U and 3DS eShops earlier this year, and making it impossible to buy digital games on either system. Around 1,000 digital-only eShop games have disappeared for good with the end of transactions, and the closure of the eShops has also meant the end of the Virtual Console service. The only retro games provided by Nintendo are now available on the Switch Online's various apps, which is so sad.
So, I don't care about the fucking Wii U hardware shit. If you're still playing on the Wii U, what are you doing? I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. But all of the shit that comes as a function of it, like closing of these eShops and all that stuff, I get it takes money to run it. I understand all of those administrative costs. I know like 2 people probably use it. But just fucking sunsetting games and being like, you can never purchase these again, that doesn't feel great to me. Personally. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're abandoning the Wii U, which isn't, who cares?
Yeah.
It didn't care for the Wii U, but yeah, it's that content that was on the Wii U, which is no longer accessible anyway. But now if your Wii U breaks, you can't play all that content anymore. And the game preservation side of it,
Right.
as we mentioned, all of the old games, all of the virtual console stuff, you not only will you not be able to buy it, but if your Wii U breaks, Nintendo ain't fixing it, and you won't be able to play it. So yeah, I agree. It's a mess. It's a mess. But at the same time, it's the Wii U. Who cares?
Yeah.
Move on.
Well, why don't we stay on Nintendo, Brett, and let's
I
talk
love
about
it.
the Mario movie a little bit.
Let's
Does
do
that
it.
sound good to you?
Yeah. Again, we're gonna preface this with a little intro, so I apologize to anyone that's watching live. This will only take a second. What's up, everybody? Josh and Brett here, sitting down to talk about the massive success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie and what it may mean for the expansion of Nintendo into the film industry. Nintendo has been a software company for a very long time, but it's more obvious now than ever they may be looking to expand into cross media with more movies based on their IP, including Zelda, as well as even more theme parks. Should we be gearing up for Nintendo modeling themselves after Disney? I hope not. We are going to dive into all of that in just a second.
That's right, Brett. But listen, if you're interested in Nintendo, Mario, Zelda, gaming news, reactions, deep dives, and more, I'm here to tell you that you're in the right place. Be sure to hit that subscribe button now. Stay up to date on all of our content related to the world of gaming. And by subscribing, you're going to be part of a community of like-minded individuals who share your passion for gaming. Brett, without further ado, let's hop into the story, shall we? So it's no secret that the Super Mario Brothers movie has become the third biggest animated movie of all time, with worldwide ticket sales of, brace yourself, over $1.24 billion. So we both saw it this past weekend.
We did.
Before we hop into the ridiculousness of some of these numbers, high level thoughts about the movie.
I thought it was fine. I think it was definitely a kids movie, and that's something we need to keep in mind is that this movie was made for kids, and therefore it's not going to be as deep as we may have liked. However,
it wasn't made for us.
Right. However, this movie is not deep at all. It's not even as deep as a kiddie pool. This movie is about as surface level as you can get. There's nothing to it. It is literally just, oh, look. Oh, wow. I remember that. Oh, look at that. Oh, listen to that.
Yeah,
the movie.
It is member berries, the movie.
Right. It is. And that's cool. And I had fun with you guys doing that and making jokes and laughing laughing at the faces that the characters were making and the voices of the characters, which we did not care for either for most part. So I gave it like a 3.5 or a 3 or something like that out of 5 stars. Yeah. It was fine. And I think that as a kid's movie, it was probably awesome. Kids probably loved it.
For sure. My favorite part is fucking Punished Luna, dude. Luma.
Yeah, Luma is the best character in the whole movie. I don't care who you are or what you say.
Yeah, Luma wanting to die is awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's why this is big, Brett. So, and the larger implications that we're going to talk about. So the film has surpassed The Incredibles 2 to take the third spot on the all-time list, with only Frozen 2 and Frozen have been generating more box office revenue. And that's just for animated films again.
That's huge.
Only the Frozen franchise has made more money at the box office for animated films than the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I think that goes to, I was going to say, I think that goes to the staying power of Mario. I mean, we knew Mario was a huge franchise. He's a huge character, recognizable for years, right?
Yeah. Put a pin in that for a second. The IP strength. I want to come back to that. So the success of the film obviously has also had a positive impact on the sales of Mario-related merchandise and classic Mario titles for Nintendo, including something like a 3,000% increase in Mario Odyssey sales since the movie. Yeah, dude, it's
good. That game is great.
Mario Odyssey is one of the best video games ever made. It's just, it shows you that. So you mentioned the strength of Mario as an IP, right? And I think for a long time, Nintendo has been so, that Japanese mindset, that so closed off, so, behind their own brick wall, so apprehensive to let people touch their IP. And what they've done with that is build some of the strongest intellectual properties in the history of media.
You have people salivating at just the thought of being able to make something with that IP.
Mario, Pikmin, Kirby, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Pokemon. They have a large hand in that. So I think Nintendo with this movie is going to start to realize, oh shit, yeah, we can make a lot of money and continue to build the strength of our IP with trusted partners, right? So where this comes into play is that apparently the Tears of the Kingdom team is interested in making a Zelda movie after seeing the success of Mario. So despite the success of the Super Mario Brother movie, there are obviously no current plans for a Legend of Zelda movie from Nintendo. But producer Eiji Onuma expressed interest in the possibility. CEO Shuntaro Furukawa, Jesus, so sorry, has indicated that the company is not rushing into any new film projects based on Nintendo characters. However, the director of the latest Zelda game, Hidemaru Fujibayashi, dude, so sorry, suggested that fan support could potentially make a difference in making a Zelda movie a reality in the future. So, yeah, whatever. That's all cool and fine. And if you want the Zelda movie, let them know. I think Nintendo would be really stupid not to see the success of the Mario movie and the success of their theme parks now and be like, oh, we can create an entirely new business model. We'll still have our hardware, our funky hardware, our stinky old fucking hardware with no memory bandwidth hardware. And we'll still make games for it like fucking Tears of the Kingdom that have no right running on that machine. And we'll also make movies off of all of our IP and strengthen the brand and drive sales. And we'll also continue to build more theme parks and funnel stuff into there. And guess what? Maybe we're becoming Disney because everything I just described to you is Disney's business model. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's possible. They're teaming up with Universal Studios to do the theme park stuff. They're teaming up with Illumination to do the movie stuff. And the thing is, like, Illumination is a Universal property, I believe. Right. So literally, it's just them and Universal kind of working together. Yeah. And in the theme park business, in the United States, the biggest rivalry, I guess you could say, is the I just lost my train of thought. The Disney theme parks and the Universal. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry. The Universal theme parks, the biggest rivalry in Florida. You know what I mean? It's those two theme parks. And I think that this could be huge for Universal in bringing their parks up to an even stronger level. They have all the Marvel stuff, but they're only allowed to have that in Florida. Disney owns Marvel now, and they have over in California shitload of Marvel stuff at Disney World or at Disneyland. But in Disney World, they're not allowed to touch it because Universal owns that shit in Florida for theme parks. Right. So I think that this could be huge for Universal. They could have even more lands from Nintendo at their theme parks. The Mario land is hugely successful. They made so much money. They had attendance records. It's huge. So I think that Universal is smart to get into that Nintendo, their little Nintendo ear and whisper, I can make a movie. I can make a theme park. I can make a TV show. I could do all of that for you because I think it's a partnership that's just brilliant, especially with that IP that you mentioned that people have been literally salivating for years.
Yeah. And I know it can sound scary, especially for people that are probably massive Nintendo fans, be like, oh, I don't want, we don't want it hammered over our head. We don't want it milked dry. Why I'm not as worried about that with Nintendo is just because they've been so careful for so long. I really think that when you get a Nintendo movie, when you get a Nintendo theme park, it'll be just like when you get a Nintendo piece of software. It will be of quality.
Yeah.
And for as much as I have a problem with Nintendo and I can't fucking stand them, I will never argue with the quality of their games.
Right.
Can't do it. So
yeah, I'm with you. I know that like they're making stuff for kids because that's what they do. They make video games for kids, but I think that maybe making something more for the teen audience or the young adult audience, like a Zelda anime series or an animated series in general, a little not adult oriented, but more they can allow for a little bit more, a little mature. They can allow the violence and whatnot.
I think the Tears of the Kingdom narrative has some of that in there.
It does. And that's why I'm saying I kind of wish that I hope that if they do, they lean into that. And it's not like a bright, friendly, fluffy thing because Zelda right now is dark.
Oh, yeah.
it's in a dark spot. And I think that if they could capture that essence into a series or a movie, I think more adults will go and see that. Less children probably. So I'd be so all over that. F-Zero could be a great series to do something with Captain Falcon.
Dude.
Star Fox.
Yes, dude. Oh, yes.
So
yeah. Ooh.
There's an F-Zero anime. Just saying. There already is one.
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's good. I like that.
So we'll see. Only time will tell.
All right, one more quick story for everybody, and then we're gonna go because we've been going long today. I'll hop right into it, Brett. How about that? And Alone in the Dark showcase is coming this week. So we know the PlayStation showcase is happening tomorrow, and Alone in the Dark showcase is apparently coming the day after. So THQ Nordic will host a showcase for its upcoming horror game, Alone in the Dark, promising to answer pressing questions about the reboot. And again, this is taking place on May 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on their YouTube and Twitch. So the day after the PlayStation showcase. Okay. The game is apparently a love letter to the original and has been in development for 5 years. And it's aiming to recapture the atmosphere of the forefather to the survival horror genre. The game will supposedly feature strange characters, dense atmosphere, thrilling combat, and the discovery of the terrible truth about the mansion of Directco in the deep south of the United States during the 1920s.
There's Santo?
I don't know if that's a typo or if I'm just stupid. And that's all well and good. We don't have a connection to Alone in the Dark, but we love horror. We love survival horror. I actually did try out the Alone in the Dark games on the Nintendo Virtual Console stuff. No, thank you. Sorry if anybody's a fan of it. But here's what gets me excited, Brett. And here's what I know gets you excited too, that I did not know before today. And I don't know if this is a new piece of information or if we just missed it, because we've talked about Alone in the Dark before on the channel.
We have.
It is apparently being written by the lead writer of a little video game called Soma. Now, for those of you that don't know, Soma is a phenomenal little game. Okay. And it is, I think, didn't it win a BAFTA for its narrative?
I'm not sure of any awards that it's won, but it won an award in my heart, Josh.
Yeah. So please talk about it a little bit. I know you're a huge fan.
It's just one of the most compelling sci-fi stories in video games I've ever played. It's very short. It's not the longest thing ever. But it has this existential dread moment that I love. It has this narrative of what happens when you die? Do we upload everybody, a clone of everybody, like a virtual clone of everybody into this virtual world where we can still live on? But then what happens to our actual body that stays here, and our mind and our, like, sure, there's a version of us living on, but what about the us that has to deal with death, right? So you may be able to live forever, but it's not you. It's a clone of you, basically, is kind of like where the game plays with, right?
Right.
What are you freaking out about? What happened?
So, well, first of all, it has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It is sitting at an 84 Metacritic, but it got an 8 from IGN, it got a 9 from Destructoid, an 8.5 from Game Informer, a 9 from GameSpot, 5 stars from Game Revolution.
And I think most of the criticism would be from the gameplay,
right?
Not the narrative.
It is. It did not win any awards. I thought it did, but yeah. So that was in 2015 that came out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so very cool. Does frictional games still exist?
Yeah. Don't they make Amnesia?
Oh shit! They have a game coming out. Actually, the demo is probably out this week. The Bunker.
Yep.
Anyway, so the lead writer of Soma is writing. What are we talking about? Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, Alone in the Dark.
Anyway, all right, Brett. That's it. We're done.
All right.
Not to cut it off short, but we're finished. We went long. I'm tired.
8 o'clock.
I have to pee and poop both. So
that's awesome.
Why don't you hit our little outro music and we'll do our spiel, shall we?
You got it.
Listen, we want to thank everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. Another episode of Hapticast in the books. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, I will likely be streaming the PlayStation Showcase here on the channel. Maybe with our friend Steven. I know there's mention about that. But listen, make sure you like, make sure you comment, subscribe, you share it with your friends. Anything else to say, Brett?
Subscribe. We love you.